What's going on, everybody? Welcome to my YouTube channel. Let me just adjust this real quick because when I touched the button, I moved it by accident. All right, guys, welcome to my YouTube channel again. Said it twice, so that's fun. So this is a new year. We're in 2020. So hopefully for all you people that were drugged out last night, you made it and we're all through. That's good stuff. So just to get into it, what we're going to be talking about today is twin flame energy update for January. Okay, so this is going to be looking at what's going on with the masculines and the feminines energetically, what you guys can expect from, I guess, both parties, and more or less what is essentially what's happening to you, what's going on, what kind of stuff is literally moving through the collective. Okay, and this is stuff that I'm experiencing, and I know lots of people that are experiencing it, and so it's a very collective process. And the goal, of course, is to help you guys feel safe where you're at, right? Okay, guys, so let me just get right into it. I want to start with the feminines because I'm a little bit biased, but we're going to start there, okay? So, first and foremost, the feminines are becoming empowered this month. Okay, now empowerment sounds really nice, right? You get this idea of being strong, being kind of like a lion. You get some elements of fantasy of overcoming all odds and everything like that, which is true. That's, of course, what being empowered means. But in order to become empowered, there's often huge trials and tribulations, great tower moments, deep wounds coming to the surface, rising above pain, rising above the mentality of being a victim, right? So it's not necessarily an easy process, but that's exactly what 2019 has been doing to a lot of people, and specifically, of course, the Divine Feminine Collective, right? Because, as I'm sure you guys know, a lot of you guys have probably suffered a lot through 2019. It's been a very hectic year. A lot of shit's happened. Honestly, I don't even know who I was like a month ago, 2 months ago, so let alone who I was at the beginning of 2019. But we're in a new year, and this is what's going on. So all of that work is actually kind of about to pay off. You are in the process of becoming empowered. And now with January 2020, we're now getting into that feeling. We're going to be starting to feel empowered rather than go through all that hard work and all the pain and suffering and stuff like that. I'm sure you guys have cried enough. I know that I have. I don't know if I'm allowed to admit that. Can men cry? I don't know. That's another topic for another day. But it's been really crazy. Okay, so first and foremost, what's going on with this empowerment? What does that really mean? Well, the first thing is that divine feminines are beginning to let go. Now, this is more than just twin flames, right? More than just letting go of your divine masculine, letting go of the relationship, letting go of a need to control the relationship. It's more about letting go of the ego, letting go of control in general, really, which is what the ego loves. The ego loves controlling things. It fucking loves it. As much as my ego loves chocolate, I mean, I love chocolate, guys, a lot. And for like the last couple, December was a bad month for me. I went to the dentist the other week, and they were like, yo, what the fuck have you been eating? And I was like, chocolate. Nothing but chocolate. It was not a fun trip. But the idea here, guys, is we're letting go of these things. I'm starting to look at a lot of the patterns in my life and starting to remove them. And not in a way that it feels like I have to, but that I want to. And that's important, right? Because when we need to do something, we have to do something, there's a lot of resistance. But when you accept that you're actually better off getting rid of some things in your life, then it becomes an easier process. And that's actually how you let go. You don't let go of something when you hate it. You know, you don't let go of something when there's resistance and pain and ego involved. That just causes a lot of the same patterns repeated and guilt and et cetera, right? You let go of something when you accept that it no longer serves you and you're okay with that. And that's what's happening a lot with your divine masculines right now, because a lot of you guys, because you're getting empowered right now, because the feminines are rising above, you're looking at the men in your life, or if you're like me, you're looking at your woman in your life idea, you're looking at the partner that you have, of course, because we all have different types of relationships. So you're looking at your partner and you're saying to yourself, well, they're not giving me this, this, and this, but not in a way that's so much about expectations, but in a way that is about unconditional love and about what you deserve and what you need at this point in your life. And a lot of you guys do not need what your masculine is currently providing, or I guess a better way of saying it would be lack of providing, right? What they're not giving you. And so a lot of you guys are letting go of things that don't serve you, including your masculine, right? So a lot of you guys are moving on, trying to let go, trying to find solitude, trying to find space, trying to do things that that serve you in a higher way. that don't bring you down, that don't make you feel essentially like shit, right? You're trying to feel good. So that's really what's happening right now. A lot of you guys are also standing your ground, not only in the relationship itself, though you guys are energetically, but also in your own life with maybe family members, friends, even if they aren't going to be your friends soon, people in your life. You are standing your ground, standing up for yourself. And a lot of you guys are standing up to your masculines or the people in your life in just the sense of, hey, this is where I'm at. This is who I am. This is where I'm trying to be. I'm trying to become something. And so a lot of you guys are getting rid of that this month. You're getting rid of this need to control everything. You know, you're standing your ground. You're being empowered. You're getting into this point of perception where you're starting to see your worth more and more. And January is really going to start bringing that out of you guys. Okay, and it might become in unexpected ways. It might just be, you know, you do what I do by, I'm going to be taking a trip, and probably a series of trips, but at least the first trip, cabin in the woods, cliche writer thing, get all of that out of the way. But it'll be really good. It'll rejuvenate me, probably, or I'll get killed by a bear, either one. But the idea here is that it's going to be a helpful process to me. And so a lot of you guys are actually doing the same thing, spending some time on your own, getting into this point where you guys feel like you've released a lot of stuff, right? A lot of you guys during this month are packing light, so to speak. You don't really want to carry all these heavy emotions. And even physically, with me going on my trip, I'm just taking a carry-on bag. I'm not taking like a suitcase or anything like that. The idea here is I'm not coming back to this house. In a week or so, 6 days to be precise, I am never going to be shooting a video in this house again. So that is exciting actually to me, because I don't want to be here. It's a little bit scary, but that's the idea. That's what's going on with you guys right now, okay? Now the second thing is that a lot of you guys are actually reaching a spiritual new level, okay? Let me take real quick just a drink. Now, what I mean by that is that you guys are reaching a new spiritual stage in your life, a new part of your awakening process. It's essentially the later stages of the awakening process where you start to integrate everything into your soul, and your soul is starting to take more of a driver's position than your ego, right? Now, I was watching Star Wars Return of the Jedi yesterday, as you can probably tell, shirt, and there's a scene, and I don't know if you guys have seen Star Wars. Surprisingly, a lot of you guys haven't, which is weird for me, but there's a part where Luke Skywalker is in the Jabba's palace, and he gets trapped into this little rancor pit type of thing. He falls down. Basically, there's a giant monster that tries to eat him, along with, he falls in there with like another kind of guard thing, another person, whatever, just like a little creature. And the rancor, this big beast that's in there, kills the little creature, right? But the little creature looks kind of scary on its own, but it's essentially meeting this larger creature, right? And this larger creature eats the smaller creature, and with Luke watching. And I kind of had this moment of clarity or epiphany where I felt like I was Luke, and I was kind of watching like the ego as this giant monster, right? Kind of swallow up the soul, right? And I started to think about how that's really what's been happening like throughout history, and of course in society, but it's the opposite of that, what's going on right now. The soul is like bursting through. It's taking more of a driver's side. And so you guys are reaching a new spiritual level. A lot of your guides and angels are going to be really with you guys right now, really feeling connected. The other day, I felt like a hand on my my arm. I don't even know if I really felt it as much as I saw it. Like I closed my eyes, and it felt so real. And it was just a hand, but I could see the hand with like every single detail. And it felt like a spirit guide, or you know, some type of deceased ancestor, something like that. But it was definitely a spiritual presence, and that's really what's happening, right? A lot of the a lot of the veil is thinning right now. A lot of stuff is beginning to end, transition through the different dimensions. A lot of you guys are rising up, literally rising up in your ascension process, getting into that next level. Your connection with yourself, with the universe, is going to start getting deeper now. It's going to start becoming more ethereal. You're going to start becoming more spiritual, taking on new spiritual practices, maybe beginning some old spiritual practices. There was like a couple months where I started doing yoga, stretching, kind of combination of the two every morning. And I haven't done it for like the last month, and I'm really starting to be like, I should do that again because it actually was really helpful. So, reintegrating things, part of your spiritual process. Sorry. Anyway, getting into this part of oneness, right? Now, another huge thing that's coming in this month is clarity in some form or fashion. Now, clarity doesn't mean your twin flame relationship, you guys are back together, not necessarily, right? Clarity is the ability to see things for what they are and move forward anyway, right? Not being stuck. Once you have clarity about a situation, there is no stagnation. There is no feeling like you're lost anymore. Clarity lets you know what you should be doing right now, and you're okay with doing that because you have clarity, right? A lot of times people know what they're supposed to be doing intellectually, but their heart, their emotions, their wounds essentially have to catch up to that part of your brain, that intuition that already knows kind of what's supposed to happen, right? So when you have clarity, you kind of just have this element of like, you're like, ah, shit, I should just be doing this because it's so much better and it would make a lot more sense if I did. And you just have this sudden like clearness about you. And that's what's coming in for a lot of you guys, if not all of you guys. And again, spending time on your own, being isolated during this month in some way, taking a trip, whatever you guys got going on, that's really going to help you bring that type of clarity that you need. Okay. So 3, okay, and not that I was numbering these, but 3, there's career changes, okay? There's a lot of opportunities for you guys coming in this month. Now, it doesn't mean that you guys should quit the job that you have. That's not what I'm talking about, though if you feel called to, please do. But what you're going through right now is you guys are building your empire, right? This is part of becoming empowered. Building your empire, creating this sort of flow in which you feel like you're a part of, rather than trying to be a part of somebody else's flow or trying to be fit into a spiritual box, all this, etc. What's happening is that you guys are creating a sort of creative enterprise for yourself. And so there's going to be a lot of career changes, a lot of recognition for all of the hard work that you guys have been doing, whatever that takes, whatever that means for you guys, right? And a lot of you guys are even considering spiritual paths. I've talked to a lot of you guys, and a lot of you guys are interested right now in doing things. I even have a couple of friends that aren't twin flames, but still part of that kind of divine feminine collective, that energy that they more embody than anything else. And they are, like a couple of them are thinking about, they're interested in doing tarot, stuff like that. And so they want to know if if I can teach them and stuff like that. And it's like, absolutely, let's go. I'm more than willing to help you guys get into a sort of empowered state where you feel like this is what you really want to do, and that's something you can bring in money with and something you love doing. And of course, that's the whole point of finding that dream job, is to have both of those kind of elements together, right? That divine masculine energy with the money and the being taken care of, security, and that feminine energy with the creativity and the freedom, right? Bridging those. That's that idea of that dream job. And that's really what's starting to happen this month. Now, I'm not saying that you guys are going to find your dream job this month, though there might be a huge percentage of you guys that do. But especially if you guys gain some clarity, right? As soon as you let go of something new comes in. And that's January. It's newness, 2020. Big, important year. Again, becoming empowered. So what this is really talking about is just that drive that's coming in, and your creative ideas and your enterprises really starting to flourish and become the things that you've been dreaming about, right? All of this stuff is coming into fruition, and that's great, okay? So next I'm going to be talking about the masculines, okay? So if you don't care about them, this would be a good point to click off. All right. Oh shit, that water is really warm. Okay, so with the masculines, all right. First and foremost, guys, because of all this stuff that you guys are going through, because you guys are becoming empowered, what's happening with the masculines on a sort of grander scale, in some form or another, right? Some masculines, maybe you guys are together in a relationship, but in some form, there is this awakening happening, okay? There is this ascension process that the masculines are beginning to go through, right? While 2019 was a lot of feminines letting go, letting go and becoming, becoming more of themselves, trying to become more authentic, getting to this point where they can be empowered. Masculines were really stuck, right? A lot of them were not, for the majority of the year anyway, not giving you guys, or giving the relationship the energy that you guys would want. because they weren't on the same level as you guys, right? But the masculines are leveling up. They are beginning this ascension process. They're waking up to this deeper connection within themselves and within the within the connection that you guys share, of course, because a lot of them are experiencing the types of tower moments and epiphanies that are needed for this awakening process, because especially if they were not doing the work or doing anything like that, this month is going to be really kind of profound for a lot of divine masculines as they begin to wake up and they start seeing things and start experiencing things that you guys would have experienced in the beginning of your spiritual awakening. And that's really going to start to pull them, of course, towards you, but towards themselves, and that is actually towards you as well. They're having this deeper connection, finding this element of spirituality that they might not have discovered before. And so if your masculine hasn't woken up in any way, you're going to expect some very, very profound changes for them this month. If your masculine's already sort of awake and you guys may be together, then maybe just expect a sort of deeper connection as they begin to understand more about the twin flame connection and themselves. And that's going to be, of course, good for you guys, but most importantly, good for them as well, right? Because the whole point is self-love on both sides, right? I know that the feminines would really like their masculines to be with them, but I think that what would be really great more than that is that your masculines love themselves, okay? It's really a sort of romanticized idea about this twin flame relationship, everybody, the two coming together and being really, really happy, which is a great thing to think, but it wouldn't be helpful if the other person didn't love themselves and at least wasn't on that path to loving themselves, wasn't even trying, right? And so that's really what's starting to happen with a lot of those guys right now. And I use the term guys as a sort of plural thing, or whatever, collective, whatever, but men and women. But the idea here is that they're waking up, which is really great. They're going to start experiencing a lot of stuff, okay? Stuff like orbs of light, or just coming across the information, getting synchronicities and signs and stuff like that, beginning that awakening process, okay? Now, as well as that, there is going to be heartache, heavy emotions going on this month, because as they awaken, they go through that sort of dark night of the soul energy, and all that shit gets brought up to the surface, as I'm sure a lot of you guys were experiencing during 2019, or just at different points in your awakening process. So yeah, there's going to be loss, there's going to be grief, there's definitely going to be this deeper healing at the same time, though, because as they do go through these emotions, as they do bring these stuff up to the surface, they are going to start to heal them, because again, divine feminines, you guys are beginning to ascend and reach a new spiritual level, right? Something that is more in connection to who you really are, while the masculines are beginning to wake up to this, and they're going to just start experiencing all of these really emotions that they didn't really have before. And that, of course, is going to be including healing, sadness, yes, but it is going to be healing for them, and they are going to be experiencing this sort of profound realization that their divine feminines are truly the one that they want, okay? And I've said this so many times, guys. Divine feminines, one of your biggest goals, and I say goal not as an end result, but as sort of realization, maybe, that you do not need the divine masculine to live your life, to love yourself, to even love them, and to be happy. You do not need your divine masculine. And in a larger way, the point of that is that you do not need anybody to be happy. Because again, the masculines, they are teaching you lessons, but they're not teaching you lessons about your divine other. They're teaching you lessons about life through a person. That's that idea of unconditional love. The fact that they are able to teach you, even if it doesn't seem like they're, if they're not in your life, okay, yeah, I get that separation's hard, but they're literally teaching you how to be more authentic, right? And so as that's happening and stuff like that, as they're experiencing all of these emotions and sort of going through this deeper healing, it is actually bringing them to a place where they're going to be realizing that they've always loved you guys, right? So again, feminines are supposed to be realizing that you guys don't really need anybody to be happy, whereas the masculines are supposed to kind of realize that that they can accept true love, and then they can let it in, and true love being, of course, in the form of a person, right? And again, it's that mirror energy, right? And of course, the divine feminine is probably experiencing something or the same. We all kind of have the same kind of things that we deal with, masculine or feminine, right? We're all still human at the end of the day, this type of experience, right? So then the last kind of thing that I put down is mirroring, right? So obviously there's mirroring going on the entire time of the relationship, but with this, what I mean is that there's a heavy reflection energy. For the masculines specifically, because the divine feminines are really letting go and again moving on to better and better things, to better places, the masculines are starting to feel you guys pull away, and that's like that. That's causing them, of course, to awaken as well and to really start to focus on their feminine more. And so, that might involve some spying, some watching some social media stuff, whatever you guys got going on. But if there isn't like that, it's just paying more attention, taking a greater interest in you guys if you guys are talking in a relationship, whatever that might mean, right? And then we have, so yeah, they're mirroring the divine feminine again, going through this process of trying to understand, right? A lot of them are actually gaining wisdom in some way, going within. Again, it talked about a little bit of introspection with the feminines, but the masculines are doing that as well, because when they do release these heavy emotions, they are going to be realizing things, right? And part of that is going to be this deeper wisdom, this deeper connection to the twin flame reality, or even the 5D, right? This whole spiritual insight, right? A lot of triggers for them, which cause a lot of growth. And again, I was talking about that with the emotions a bit, but there is this sort of profound element of trying to understand themselves and their twin flame. And that, of course, is going to be brought upon by a lot of triggers, a lot of things, a lot of past conversations being remembered, a lot of information being remembered, their own roles in the relationship being remembered, of course, with that grief and that regret sort of energy. But at the same time, there's this element of love. They are loving their divine feminines more. Even if they don't express it, even if they don't show it just yet, there is a lot of growth happening. And when you grow, you do experience love. That's sort of, if you're truly growing in life, you do not experience love less, you experience it more, even if it's just something within yourself. But of course, as you do love yourself, you begin to love others more, at least in a sense where you're more accepting, right? There used to be a lot of stuff that bothered me about people. I don't really give a shit so much anymore. Maybe it's just because, like, again, I'm doing my own thing and I'm kind of happy doing it. So, like, when people are happy, they're more forgiving and everything like that. There's no real resentment. And you just sort of appreciate things more. And so the masculines, because they're going through this growth, they're starting to appreciate their feminines more on a deeper level, okay? Now, I can't say whether or not they're going to communicate to you guys this month. That's a whole different sort of thing. That would be, again, you guys more than welcome to book a personal reading with me. But I can say that this energy is changing for the masculines and for the feminines, obviously. This whole video's point. And January is a really, really powerful month for that to start to happen. It's more like everything's kind of coming to fruition, and this is really a huge leaping point for everybody, right? And so this is really, definitely applying to the people who are doing the work. But most importantly, guys, what's really going on here for both people and for the collective just in general is that you guys are transitioning more into a sort of empowered role. Okay, the masculines are still becoming more empowered in their own way, but it's more of that beginning process, right? And for you guys, you're kind of ending that process. And that's sort of why you're pulling the masculines towards you guys in some way, okay? So that's really what's going on with the masculines and the feminines. And then just something really, really quick for you guys, for the feminines specifically, I suppose. Don't focus on them at this time. It's one thing to get some updates, do a tarot reading here and there, and understand the connection more. That's great. I welcome you to do that, but don't focus on them too much, because it's an element of control and anxiety that you really don't need in your life. And the more that you focus on yourself, as hard as that might seem to do, you are in a way focusing on them and allowing them to focus on you. Because again, and I think this is sort of lost in translation, despite the fact this is something that almost the first thing that everybody understands about twin flames, you guys are the same soul. Literally, it's like, whatever, like you split a soul down the middle. That's them. Now, whether or not that's even objectively true, I don't even care. But the idea is that you have another soul of yourself, right? Reflecting back to you, right? Whatever, it's a mirror image. So anything you don't like and everything you do like is being reflected back to you, right? And when you only focus on everything you don't like, well, the relationship sucks, right? But there's also really positives that have happened, probably, if you were to think about it, in your life that the divine masculines also reflected back to you, right? I mean, for instance, like before I ever met my twin, I never, I didn't discover music, and I didn't discover this, and I didn't discover poetry, and all three really make me happy. So there's some positivity to come out of that as well. So this idea, guys, about focusing on yourself is going to really help that connection. The more that you self-love, the more that they self-love, and because you guys are self-loving, literally, you guys are loving each other at the same time. You're loving your soul, and you guys share the same soul. So if that makes sense to you guys, I hope it does. But the idea here is, of course, to get you guys empowered and feeling like you can let go of them, but still kind of have faith or knowing, an inner knowing that everything's going to be okay, which it is, of course. So all that being said, guys, if you guys are interested in any personal readings, coaching, stuff like that, you can check out the description box. I got all information in there. And then also, this is just a special sort of message, I don't know. But I am definitely going to start in the near future, probably after I come back from my trip. I'm going to start doing, I'm going to start teaching how to start, I'm going to start offering classes on how to speak fucking English, because holy shit. Okay, what I'm trying to say is that I'm going to start offering classes on teaching tarot. Okay, tarot sort of whatever. So the idea here is that if you guys are interested in that, definitely let me know in the comments, because if nobody gives a shit, then I don't know why I would do it. But I really feel kind of called at this time to help people out trying to find their spiritual sort of path. So if you guys have been interested in learning how to read tarot, then I would love to be able to help you guys do that, and it would be certainly more affordable. But you know, if you guys are interested in that, please let me know, because I would love to genuinely be able to help somebody do something that they love doing, okay, or that they might love doing that might actually help them, and also bring them in some sort of financial gain or something like that, right? Okay, all that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys had a good new year, and that you guys didn't get too drunk or high or whatever it is that people do. I don't know. But it's a new year, and I'm so happy for you guys, and also thankful, and I hope that the rest of your week goes good. All right, guys, thank you so much. I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.